This dude right here is our MC. He's a kid living on borrowed time at an orphanage, spending his days black marketing blood vouchers and stashing his cash behind a charity donation bin. Physically, he's a total scrawny weakling, but he loves picking fights and trolling people. When he loses a fight, he gets salty and grabs a toilet brush to ambush his opponent from behind. When he finally gets beaten to a pulp and left on the ground, he calls his big bro to come bail him out, just to get some petty revenge and satisfy his ego. Essentially, he's the type who'd rather eat prison food than a home-cooked meal. But anyway, enough with the yapping. Let's dive straight into the story. At a certain press conference, under the glare of camera lenses and a crowd of busy reporters, the gentle, deep voice of an MC rang out. With an 87.5% approval rating, the education president has received the highest support in the history of presidential elections. Minsu, the president-elect. And now, the president-elect's address to the nation will begin shortly. A man with a thick beard, the newly elected president, stepped up to the podium with a slight smile to give his speech. Distinguished citizens, the reason I stand here today is because I am deeply concerned for the successors of this nation's future. Our youth, our children. Throughout my long career, as an educator, I have always agonized over what the truly right path is for them. What weighs on my heart is the fact that we lack a system to guide them in the right direction. Teachers who lead children on the right path have become targets of violence. Some are injured and some have even lost their lives. Yet these kids feel no guilt whatsoever because they know they won't face proper punishment in this day and age. There are no longer adults brave enough to straighten out these minors anymore. Adults just hold their breath, enduring and fearing the glares of these kids, not daring to speak up for fear of retaliation. But starting today, the era where children are forgiven simply because they are minors is over. There will be no more slap-on-the-wrist punishments. The Juvenile Protection Act, which has caused so much controversy for so long, will be abolished. Instead, if children commit crimes, they will have to participate in a mandatory education and training program. Once they successfully complete their rehabilitation, these children will become new people and be reintegrated into society. This is the Juvenile Protection Act. For a new era, the rehabilitation and education law. If mere words aren't enough to make them listen, then we are forced to use a heavy hand. The scene shifts to a certain school at a voluntary school blood drive. It's packed with tons of students as well as the entire school board. Faced with the bustling, festival-like crowd, two nurses are busy handing out flyers, smiling and chatting. Whoa, are all these people waiting to donate blood? Nurse Kim. This is your first time at this school, right? There are so many students here who want to donate that it's pretty hectic. The brown-eyed nurse said with a smile. It seems like there are way more here than at other schools, huh? The black-eyed nurse chimed in. It's really strange, isn't it? Kids these days usually don't even give blood donation a second thought. The brown-eyed nurse laughed heartily in agreement. Exactly. This kind of spirit is truly commendable. At the same time, a student in line turned around with a frown and muttered to his group of friends, "Get in line, I was here first." Then a brown-haired boy leaned in and told the friend in front of him, "Hurry it up before lunch break is over." Meanwhile, the boy in front asked nonchalantly, "How much is one blood donor card worth?" A man with a thick stack of cash strapped to his hand replied coldly, 5,001. Currently, I'm running a deal, buying 5,001 gift certificates for 10,001. Sounds like a losing trade, right? But my real goal is to stockpile blood donor cards. See? The hidden value of a donor card is about 12,001. If I list them for 10,001, people in need of transfusions will flood my inbox with messages. But why doesn't anyone else sell them? Because this is illegal. However, as a minor, even if I get caught, I'll just get a slap on the wrist. Assault, theft, fraud, prostitution, and even murder, when even serious crimes aren't handled properly. Would the cops really care about cases with no victims? My business isn't actually as easy as it looks. Committing a crime means becoming the target of another crime. Those who break the law for profit have zero excuses to justify their mistakes. Nor do they get any sympathy from anyone, and they can't tell their story to anyone else. But so what? It's not like I have anyone protecting me anyway. Looking at the poster on the wall, some thugs mockingly said to each other, "The rehabilitation law, another load of BS, huh? Just let this crappy world stay crappy. Education and rehab is just a stupid joke." They're all talk and no action. Suddenly, smoke started billowing from the crotch of a blonde guy, making the whole group grimace and plug their noses. "Oh man, this smell. Did you eat pickled onions or did you just straight up crap yourself?" Blondie, looking embarrassed, tried to defend himself. "Hey, why you gotta judge a man for ripping one? When a guy smokes, sometimes things just get heavy down there. Anyway, this is still better than the smell of cigarettes." "Cigarette smell is nasty as hell, right, stinky bastard?" Having said that, he pinned the blood-dealing kid's head down and continued to fart right on him. He arrogantly continued, "If you've got cash, you better kick it up to the top. Did rehab turn you into a total loser?" Then he kept tormenting the boy, letting a big glob of spit gather in his mouth before dropping it right onto the kid's face. Fuming with resentment, the boy finally spoke up. "Without Jang Su, you're absolutely nothing." The blonde guy's face twisted in rage as he glared down and said, "I know, Jang Su is 100 times scarier than me. But guess what? Jang Su is getting out of the joint today." Hearing that, the boy flinched, startled, and thought to himself, Jang Su is the kingpin of a criminal organization, made up of juvenile delinquents. In this area, everyone has been a victim of his, but no one dares to admit they're a victim. Why? Because they fear the brutal revenge. That happens in the legal blind spots, truth be told. He's the kind of guy who's capable of anything. Snapping out of it, the boy slowly sat up, clutching his face, and asked for confirmation. "Is Jang Su really leaving the detention center today?" The blonde guy cut him off immediately. "You're acting like you're best buds or something. Is Jang Su your friend, please? You're shaking like a leaf just hearing he's out of jail. How precious." Then the blonde guy gave a smug laugh and leaned his face right in the boy's space. "Come on, buddy, pay your taxes. You don't want to be on Jang Su's bad side, do you?" The boy thought for a moment, then quickly opened his bag. "Yeah, I get it now. See, isn't this much more peaceful? Just take it." The boy's tone left the blonde guy and his crew totally stunned. Seeing them standing there like idiots, the boy growled, "What's the matter? Not gonna take it. I said take it, you bastards." With that, he held up his hand and gave them the middle finger, unable to stomach this humiliation. The blonde guy was so pissed his veins were about to pop. His face twisted into a terrifying scowl as he screamed repeatedly, "Ah, you pig, you little brat! You think I'm some kind of pushover?" With that, he started throwing hands and feet, kicking and punching the boy right in the gut. Seeing the kid slumped on the ground, he continued his frenzied beating, hurling insults left and right. "Jang Su isn't here, so you think you can disrespect everyone. Yo, screw you. You think I'm a soft target." Seeing this, his lackeys started egging him on. Woe Tongue is really triggered now, fueled by his erratic temper. The blonde guy suddenly had an idea, as he spotted a shovel leaning against the corner. "Don't any of you stop me. I'm gonna finish this guy off today." Seeing Blondie menacingly gripping the shovel, his underlings tried to intervene. "Hey, chill out! If you do that, you'll end up in a detention center too." Ignoring all their warnings, the blonde guy stepped in front of the kid and said nonchalantly, what's there to be afraid of a detention center? I'll just stay for a few days and then I'm out. From now on, this bastard Minsu is gonna fear me just like he fears Jang Su. I'll make you pee your pants every time you see my face." As he spoke, he swung the shovel up at a 45-degree angle, readying his strike, when suddenly, a foot came flying in and kicked him square in the body, sending him sprawling forward. The surrounding underlings gaped in shock. Minsu flinched, squinting his eyes to look at the savior who just rescued him. A man holding a pair of glasses in his hand was calmly striking a pose. He then rushed over to Minsu, helping him up and checking on him. "Are you okay, Minsu?" Seemingly recognizing him, the underlings looked at each other in confusion. "Wait, isn't that the student council president? Damn, I knew he looked familiar, so he takes off his glasses just to flex." After the president's surprise attack, the blonde guy refused to back down, standing up and shouting, "Who the hell do you think you are? I'm gonna kill you both and go straight to the joint." He then swung the shovel violently toward the two of them, but the president remained perfectly calm. He stood up and dodged backward, making Blondie miss his swing. The president quickly closed the gap, grabbing Blondie tightly by the shoulder. He left the guy dazed. "What?" Before he could let the guy continue his evil deeds, the president slammed Blondie into the ground without hesitation. He barked at him. "Have you ever killed anyone? Do you think you can handle the consequences?" Seeing his lackeys standing there like statues, Blondie went ballistic and screamed, "What are you guys doing? Do something. Jump him, take him down." On their leader's command, the lackeys finally charged like madmen. "You bastard, you think you're safe just because you jumped in?" Predicting the move, the president leaped up, caught one guy's arm, and countered with a straight-up knockout punch to the face. Seeing his buddy get wrecked, the fat guy also charged in blindly. "I was gonna let it slide because you're the president, but I guess you're just begging for a beating." Tough talk as it was. Once again, Fatty's attack was easily neutralized by the president. With a quick duck, he grabbed the fat guy's arm, spun around, and slammed him flat on the ground. The last guy witnessed this scene shaking like a leaf. Drenched in sweat, he begged for mercy. Wait, I was just pretending to jump in." "No, wait, I'm serious, don't come over here, no." Hearing the pathetic screams, Minsu stood up and sighed. He slung his backpack over his shoulder. "I told you no school violence. Kang Yu-sung." The president smiled cheerfully and replied, "Kang Yu-sung, who, shouldn't you be saying thank you, big brother, right now?" Minsu walked away coldly. Brother, screw you. You're not my brother anymore. Stay out of my business. If you hang around trash, you're gonna end up smelling like it. Got it. Yu-sung tried to call out to him, I'm not trash. You're still my little brother. And no matter what you think, we're still family. Minsu didn't want to argue any further. He said coldly, just drop it and throw that watch away. Surprised, Yu-sung lifted his hand to look at the watch. So what? What's wrong with the watch? And you got adopted by a rich family, but you still can't afford a new watch. It's giving me second-hand embarrassment just looking at it. Yu-sung answered bluntly, what's the big deal? I don't really care about it. By the way, Minsu, aren't you going to class? Why are you still loitering? Strolling away, he muttered, mind your business, I'm going home. School's a joke. Watching Minsu walk away, with the same watch still strapped to his wrist, Yu-sung grumbled in frustration, this idiot! He hasn't changed his watch either. After a long day of wandering the streets, it was already late afternoon. Minsu still looked like he was in a lot of pain. Gently touching the bruises on his face, he thought, why did he have to get involved in this? What if he fails to get into college because of me? This student council president is also a student, who was fast-tracked for admission to the Korea University School of Medicine. Kang Yu-sung and the school's biggest delinquent Lee Minsu, we are blood brothers, real brothers. His real name is Lee Hyun-soo. Now he's been adopted by a wealthy family and became Kang Yu-sung. As for me, I'm still here at the Pyongan orphanage. That's why he shouldn't be seen with me anymore. I can't become a burden to him. He should keep walking his path in the light, while I find a way to survive on my own. Inside that old clothing donation bin over there is my means of survival. All the money I've been grinding for all this time? My current net worth is 3.4 million won. Another 6.6 million won to reach my 10 million goal. But the blood drive truck won't be back for another 3 months. I'll probably have to find another school to donate blood at. Gotta make that bread. If you're asking why I'm so obsessed with making money like this, it's because in 2 years I'll have to leave the orphanage. Even with the 5 million won the government gives us, it's still not enough to rent a room. Maybe I should look for a part-time job. But for an orphan like me, and a minor on top of that who's going to hire me, I know this is illegal, but it's the only way to make fast cash. I don't want to be a burden on my brother anymore. The door to the money room was then closed. That was when the blonde guy approached from behind. He had snuck up without anyone noticing. His eyes were gleaming intensely. He let out a wicked smirk. Holy shit! Our boy Minsu is freaking loaded, isn't he? Hey Minsu, I've got something hilarious to tell you. At the same time, he gripped Minsu's shoulders tightly. Then he leaned in close, his mouth wet with drool right against Minsu's ear. He whispered to Minsu, if a criminal gets busted, the government seizes all their dirty money. Minsu calmly looked back with a lazy gaze and asked, What do you want? Blondie pinned Minsu to the ground, grinning ear to ear. I told you before, I'm gonna make you piss your pants every time you see my face. The next day in the classroom, Kang Yu-sung was focused on taking notes as usual. Suddenly a stern voice rang out. Quiet down and take your seats, everyone. Startled, Yu-sung yanked it off his earbuds. He gasped, oh shoot, the teacher's here. The teacher rushed to the podium, announcing breathlessly, is everyone seated? Jang Su, who was at the juvenile detention center, has returned. I can see he's done a lot of soul-searching. I want you all to support him, so he can reintegrate into school smoothly, okay? Like a bolt from the blue, the students' eyes widened in terror. On the other hand, some guys seemed hyped and started gossiping. What's with the teacher? If Jang Su hears that he's gonna go beast mode and wreck the place, look at that, turns out Juvie was nothing. Only 4 weeks and he's already out. Cutting through the buzzing whispers, a wheelchair slowly entered from the doorway, leaving the entire class jaw-dropped in shock. Jang Su, the ringleader of the juvenile gang, the uncontrollable loose cannon of the past, now seemed like a completely different person. He suddenly started giggling like a fool. Tears and snot were flying everywhere. He spoke with a trembling voice. Oh my God! He was stammering. Good grief. He actually peed himself. Look at his crotch. A steady stream is gushing out all over the floor. The whole class suddenly broke into a frenzy. Teacher, what's going on? What's wrong with him? Jang Su's mother, please take him outside first. The Juvenile Reform Act, specifically the highly controversial Juvenile Protection Law, has been abolished. Juvenile offenders will now be sent to facilities managed by the military for rehabilitation. The duration of their education will be extended until they are deemed to have completely changed. Back at the orphanage, at this moment, a swarm of police officers arrived and cordoned off the scene. Some kind of accident had occurred. Inside a car moving along the road, the driver was speaking to someone. Looks like there's an accident up ahead. The traffic is gridlocked. You'll probably be late for your prep class. Yu-sung rolled down the window, glanced out, and wondered. An accident. That's the orphanage where I used to live. But then realizing something, Yu-sung hurriedly opened the car door. He stepped out despite the driver's protests. Young master, Why did you open the door all of a sudden? Sir, where are you going? Looking down at a broken watch lying on the ground, Yusung stood frozen with his head down thinking to himself, please don't tell me. Inside the police tape, a body covered by a white sheet lay sprawled out on the ground. Yusung tried to push his way through the crowd. With a face full of horror and grief, he shouted, move, get out of the way! Please, that's my brother, right now. As he watched his brother's figure being led away, a dark, gloomy voice echoed. Under Article 2, Section 43 of the Special Act on Juvenile Reform, we are taking this minor into custody at the scene. From this point forward, all personal information of this individual will be handled by the Military Reform Center. Military Management. The scene shifts to room 303 in the courthouse. A man looking extremely furious slams his hand down on the table with a loud bang. His face was scowling, shriveled like a prune as he yelled, you're irredeemable! Lee Minsu, you haven't shown a single shred of remorse. Don't forget you're standing here on murder charges. Minsu spoke up to defend himself. I didn't kill anyone, okay? I've said it over and over again. Why won't you listen to me? The man with glasses held up an evidence bag. Lies always lies. So, how do you explain your fingerprints and the blood on this brick? What about that? And all the other crimes you've committed? Are you claiming you didn't do those either? I've seen so many people like you, blaming their circumstances, their families, or the situation. All of you are just beyond help. When things don't go their way, they play the victim. None of you are ever truly sorry. Seeing the judge's state, someone behind him whispered a reminder to him. He seemed seriously pissed off. The judge looked incredibly tense. Veins bulged on his face as he asked in a low, brooding voice, kill someone because they bullied you. Kill someone because they took your money. Kill someone just because you don't like them. If that's the case, the world would be covered in corpses. That's why you need to learn a lesson now. If someone's bothering you, you ask an adult for help. Ultimately, the reason you committed these crimes is because you don't trust adults. Lee Minsu, under Article 28M of the Reform and Rehabilitation Act, you are sentenced to detention at the Youth Reform Center. Adolescence. The scene shifts to the Youth Reform Center. The vehicle came to a halt. A group of kids in the back looked out dazed and confused. They asked each other, damn, are we here already? What the hell is this? Why does it look so busted? Are we seriously sleeping here? Looking into the distance, someone was seen diligently driving a shovel into the dirt. The crowd started buzzing, yo look, it's a girl. A total hottie with a killer body leaned on her shovel and let out a sigh. Stop staring and just get your ass on the island. A blonde guy with an excited face gasped, oh, the scent of a woman. I thought it'd be forever before I got a whiff again. She looks so fine, that brunette is mine. Hey, dyed hair, come hang out with daddy. I'll dye your roots for you. Inside the vehicle, a soldier stepped forward. Calm down, guys. That's the Female Reform Center. Our building is way over there. Hearing that the group started getting worked up. Fuck that I can't sleep without girls around. Total buzzkill. Meanwhile, Minsu sat in silence, lost in thought. Even when I tell the truth, nobody believes me. The prison gates swung open, and the vehicle slowly rolled inside. It stopped at a yard. The youths were all urged to get off the truck. All right, kids, out of the truck and line up. But as soon as they stepped down, they immediately started whining. Got any smokes? Is there a PC room? The blonde guy walked right up to a soldier's face, demanding, yo, give me a cigarette. The soldier gave a tight smile and replied, minors aren't allowed to smoke. You know that. A guy in black stepped off the truck, scowling. Hey, you want a punch before you cough up those smokes? One punch, lol? Haha, the blonde guy acted all arrogant, spitting right into the soldier's face. How about 3 or maybe 4? At that moment, the main character stepped off the truck and witnessed the scene, thinking to himself, this guy is freaking out of his mind. Hilarious. Suddenly, strange noises echoed from a distance. Oink, oink, oink. It caught Minsu by surprise. It was a group of shirtless guys wearing only boxers. They approached with expressions that looked completely zonked out. Oink, 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 a bald guy led them, his eyes glazed over as if he'd lost his humanity. Seeing the sight before them, the new kids were left jaw-dropped. They stared wide-eyed in total confusion. Then they suddenly burst out laughing in mockery. What the fuck is that? Those idiots are hilarious. Look at the pigs running. Watching the excitement of the newcomers, the soldier simply smiled and turned around. Then a foot clad in a polished black officer's shoe stepped forward slowly. Tense and visibly terrified, the soldier shouted, attention! The newcomers, still clueless about what was happening, flinched and started whispering to each other. Holy crap, why'd he scream all of a sudden? What's the deal, man? Platoon 10 hut. As the command ended, rows of feet snapped into a perfect line. Their faces were dead serious. The soldier continued with the orders. Respect to the warden, salute. Instantly, the shirtless youths raised their hands in a perfectly synchronized salute. The new arrivals kept acting like cocky punks. Some stood, some sat mocking them with oink oink ha ha ha. A middle-aged man with a deep scowl, dressed in a crisp formal uniform, and high-ranking officer's shoes glared at them and bared his teeth. Platoon rest. The new kids, thinking they were cool, continued to chatter. Platoon, really? What the hell is this? I freaking hate these military games. Oink oink. Are we supposed to do that too? Man, this is such a drag. Hearing the chatter from the newcomers, the commander let out a cryptic smile and uttered, "Bend. Heads down." The new kids found this hilarious. LeMayo, look at them bending. What's that old geezer barking about? Bend over, should I actually do it? Where exactly does he want us to bend? Thud, 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 thud. The entire group of shirtless guys in boxers slammed their heads straight onto the ground. The newcomers were stunned and whispered, "Holy shit, they actually did it. Is this for real?" They don't know about the military juvenile justice decree. Are they really just kids? The commander was fuming with rage. His face twisted as he growled, pointing his finger at the new group. Another batch of vermin has arrived today. Hey, pigs! You have 10 minutes to turn these vermin into pets. The blonde guy, feeling insulted, snapped back immediately. His eyes bulged with rage as he cursed. Vermin? Who are you calling vermin? You damn old geezer! I'm gonna break your neck. Whack, whack! Quick as a flash! A hand aimed straight at the blonde guy's face, landing a blow that made his eyes pop out. His teeth went flying everywhere. Witnessing that scene, the protagonist thought in horror, "What the? These guys..." At the same time, the group of shirtless men in boxers charged forward to attack the newcomers. A high kick from a bald guy smashed the face of a brunette guy right next to the protagonist. Then, one by one, the rest of the shirtless guys in boxers began to swarm them. Realizing the danger they were in, the newcomers kept screaming, What's going on? Get away, back off, don't come near me. Holy shit, look at their eyes, they're bloodshot." Without giving the newcomers a chance to breathe, a front kick to the gut sent one guy flying. Thump! Then a second guy went down. Total chaos broke out. Bam, bam, bam. One by one, they were all flattened onto the ground. The commander smirked and said with satisfaction, "The warden likes his pigs well behaved like that. From now on, you aren't pigs anymore, you're slaves. I'm giving you permission to speak human language, understood?" The shirtless men in boxers were absolutely ecstatic. Every single one of them looked up at the sky and shouted in unison, "Yes, sir. We hear you loud and clear. Our deepest thanks, Warden." "Thank you, Warden." Lying on the ground, the protagonist watched this insane display and wondered, what kind of situation is this? In this mess, playing dead is the best move. While I'm playing dead, I'll scope out the situation. There are way too many guys to deal with. Screaming and running away will just make me a target. But why is that soldier just standing there laughing? If he wanted to help, he would have done it from the start. That means those people are dangerous too. Snapping out of his thoughts, Minsu risked it all and dashed straight toward the soldier's position. But the soldier reacted just in time. He smashed the baton straight onto the head. The protagonist, with a scowling, angry face, cursed, "Damn vermin! I told you to obey." Then he continued to raise the baton and beat him. "I didn't want to hit you, so why the hell did you force my hand, huh?" "Answer me," Minsu replied in agony. "I'm sorry, please stop hitting me, I'm sorry." After being tortured and beaten for a while, the protagonist thought to himself, "This is clearly an intimidation tactic for survival. Sophisticated power control. The movements are exaggerated. The strikes aren't hitting any vitals. This isn't violence meant to kill. Makes sense? Most people don't want to be murderers. Neither do I." Interrupting the protagonist's thoughts, the commander loomed behind him mocking, "Hey, you're a quick study, aren't you? You're new here, so you must be confused. But you already know how to play the game." As he spoke, he raised his foot and stomped straight onto Misu's face. He cried out in pain, I'm sorry." The commander then said, No need to apologize. I quite like sneaky little rats like you. Fine, from now on, you're rat. Make sure you keep me entertained, got it, huh? Don't say huh, say squeak squeak." Then he immediately turned to the guards and asked, "How's everything going?" "Everything good." One guard stepped out and replied, "Yes, Warden. All the new recruits have finished stripping." At this point, the entire group of newcomers had been stripped buck naked, kneeling on the ground in nothing but their boxers. Without exception, the protagonist had also been stripped clean and thrown onto the ground. The commander flashed an excited, delighted grin. "All right, from this moment on, the evaluation begins." The scene shifts to a certain building. "Hello, is anyone there?" Usung's voice slowly called out as his hand reached up to ring the doorbell. After a while, with no response from inside, Usung quickly reached into his chest pocket and said nonchalantly, 2 p.m., the perfect time for someone to be out. Then he slowly pulled out a pair of scissors using his full skill. One hand twisting the knob, the other poking with a pair of scissors. The clicking sound of the door latch opening rang out. Usung nonchalantly opened the door with a smug look. "Pardon me, I'm coming in." Just as he stepped inside, Yusung recalled the time from long ago. When I was a kid, my little brother and I used to break into abandoned houses. Minsu would be the lookout outside, and I would steal the valuables inside. Until the cops caught us and sent us to the orphanage. We spent years as burglars. Because of that, we could clean out a house of its valuables in just 5 minutes. I really thought that after those days, I wouldn't be doing this anymore. Walking over to open a bedroom door in the house, Yusung stepped in and said, "Don't worry, I'm not here to steal anything. I just want answers." My brother was also taken to that place. On the bed, the classmate who used to wet his bed was lying sprawled out. His limbs were tied down to the 4 corners of the bed. Groan, moan, He looked like a total vegetable. Eyes wide, snot dripping everywhere, he stammered, I pooped myself." Ignoring the mess, Yusung asked with a frown, "What kind of place is that reform center to turn you into something like this? They said you fell from a height and hit your head. But you don't have any signs of broken bones. Or any actual physical injuries. Something else happened, didn't it? You used to be such a loose cannon, even the cops were wary. But now look at you." After a moment of being left alone, Jang Su screamed frantically, "Ugh, I crapped my pants!" Smack, smack, smack. Immediately, Yusung's hand slapped Jang Su's face in warning. "Poop this, poop that!" Then he jumped onto the bed and sat on top of him, grabbing Jang Su's face to interrogate him. "You were only in there for 4 weeks, but my brother might never get out. So snap out of it and answer me." Suddenly, Jang Su let out a manic laugh. He stuck his tongue out, rolling it wildly, and hissed, "Electric shock! Electric shock! It hurts so much, I'm sorry." Seeing that things weren't going as planned, Yusung let out a weary sigh. So this was all just a waste of time. Suddenly, Yusung's eyes darted downward, staring at the marks on Jang Su's chest. He thought to himself, what is this? Back at the reform center, the newly arrived young men were being tattooed on their chests with red ink. The commander sat pompously in his chair, flipping through files. Oh, Sanjin Class C theft. Park Sungu Class C property damage. Man, this batch is full of boring small fry. As if spotting something unusual, the commander suddenly exclaimed, "Oh, now here's an interesting one. I knew my eyes didn't deceive me." Noticing the man's gaze shifting toward him, Minsu flinched. The man stood up grinning ear to ear and said, "Congratulations, you're the lucky rat." "Lee Minsu," the protagonist replied. "Yes, I mean squeak." The commander looked like he'd struck gold. Winking with one eye, he spoke with pure glee. "You're way more violent than you look. The only Class A in this entire group. You're going to have a wonderful time here." Lee Minsu, 18 years old. Class A murder charge. The scene shifts to Yeonji Girls High School. Dozens of pretty girls were walking down the street when one girl suddenly glanced into the distance, looking quite surprised. With her mouth agape, she told her friends, "Whoa, no way. Stop eating and look over there, he's fine as hell." Over there, Yusung was casually flipping through a book. Leaning against a bicycle, he looked like a total hunk. The girl suddenly approached him. "It's been a long time, hasn't it?" This made Yusung look up in surprise. The gray-haired girl with a fit physique, wearing a face mask, said with a laugh, "But actually, this is our first time meeting, right?" The brown-haired girl widened her eyes. "We can get to know each other starting now, right?" The gray-haired girl tucked her hair back and asked, "Are you a trainee too? Want to follow me on social media?" Yusung gave an awkward smile and replied, "I'm good, thanks. I don't use social media." Hearing that, the 2 girls immediately started teasing him. "Oh my God, your smile is so cute. A guy who doesn't use social media. That's a vibe. Oh, by the way, can I ask you 2 something?" The girl, looking hungry for him, chirped, "Of course. I'll even give you my address." Isa, even the way he breathes is precious. Yusung got straight to the point. "I'm looking for someone named Ga-semin." The gray-haired girl pointed into the distance and gasped. "Huh, you're looking for Ga-semin? No way. You mean that psycho girl?" In that direction stood a girl. She looked pretty, but had a tough aura. Holding her helmet, she looked totally badass. Snapping her chewing gum, she definitely had that look. She just got out of the juvenile reform center. Uh-oh, she's looking this way. That crazy chick has ears like a hawk. Why is she glaring at us like that? Right as she finished her sentence, Yusung coldly walked away, leaving the 2 girls looking bewildered. He approached Samin and hesitated. She blew a bubble and asked, "What's the deal?" Yusung stammered, I want to know about the reform center." She immediately got angry. She pushed Yusung back and snapped, "Get lost." Then she quickly started to leave. Yusung slumped his shoulders and sighed in disappointment. He tried shouting after her, "My little brother is in there." Hearing that, Seaman froze in her tracks. She clenched her small fists tightly. Yusung dejectedly rubbed his eyes under his glasses and wiped his face. "Maybe I was too blunt. I'll have to try a different approach next time." "Hey!" Her voice suddenly rang out. A helmet came flying through the air towards Yusung. He caught it quickly, looking confused. The girl sat on her bike with a beckoning look. "What's the holdup?" "Get on," This isn't the place to talk about that. Once he realized what was happening, the bike roared to life and started cruising down the road. Eusung couldn't help but ask out of curiosity, "Why did you change your mind?" "My little brother is locked up in there too." In the end, just what kind of place is this juvenile reform center? Semin thought for a long while. Then, with tears welling up in her eyes, she said, "It's hell." Back at the reform camp. At this moment, the commander was standing solemnly on a high platform. "New announcement, it's only been 3 hours. Now we will begin the next exercise." Misu's entire body was shaking uncontrollably. Drenched in sweat, he thought to himself, "Damn it, when is this going to end?" "Start frog jumping." The guard's voice rang out, and that was when Minsu, along with the group of delinquents, began to squat down. The guard continued to announce the rules. "When you hear 1, shout oink. When you hear 2, shout squeal, got it. 1 oink, 2 squeal." Only Minsu went squeak squeak. He cursed internally, "Son of a bitch, it's been 3 hours. When will this be over, squeal oink? Squeak squeak." After the commander heard those sounds, he felt excited and said with a laugh, "Oh, the sounds of livestock are always so sweet." Suddenly, a blond young man collapsed to the ground. Several guards immediately swarmed him to gang up on him. "Don't you dare be lazy, get up. Someone left the line, so we're starting all over from the beginning." The blond guy pleaded in pain, "My stomach hurts so bad. Please let me use the bathroom, I can't hold it anymore." The 2 guards took the chance to bark at him. "Damn, you acted like such a tough guy when you first got here. And yet this is all you can handle." The commander slowly walked over and said, "Wait a second. You guys are hitting him just because he wants to go to the bathroom. That's a bit too harsh. He must have been holding it in for a long time before asking." "Right, don't be afraid, stand up." The 2 guards looked bewildered. "What?" The commander walked over and sat down in front of the blond guy, with a face full of schemes. He then reached his hand toward the blond guy, acting kind. "Come on, get up." After the blond guy reached out and grabbed the commander's hand, he turned back toward the group of youths and asked, "So who else needs to hit the head?" Hearing that, several guys scrambled and shouted, Me too." Minsu sensed something was off and thought to himself, "We're all being punished together, but they want to let them off." The guards barked at them. "Hey, you pigs, who gave you permission to speak?" Human language. "Get in a single file line. Anyone else need to go? If you don't go now, you're gonna have to hold it until the training is over, got it? The rest of you keep training." Minsu walked along feeling suspicious. Are they really going to let them use the restroom? And the ones who don't go just stay and train? With such an unfair system, everyone would just fake a stomachache to skip out, wouldn't they? This is way too sketchy. Would they really let them go that easily? Unconditional kindness is like unidentified fruit in a deep jungle. The more tempting and delicious it looks, the more cautious you have to be when approaching it. Snapping out of his thoughts, Minsu suddenly raised his arm. Panting heavily, he went squeak squeak. The guard rushed over. "What's that?" "Speak like a human." Minsu stood tall and shouted at the top of his lungs, "I don't have to go anymore. I'm going back to training." The guard grabbed him by the throat and yelled, "You little brat, you think this is a joke? Do we look like we're playing around here, huh?" Minsu replied tremblingly, I overexerted my muscles and my stomach just cramped up. I'm sorry." The guard's teeth ground together as he tightened his grip on Misu's neck. He snapped, "Oh, is that so? Want me to help cramp it up some more?" With that, he violently threw the protagonist out of the line. "Get back in line, you rat. I'll be keeping an eye on you." Seeing Minsu trembling on the ground, the other youths jeered at him with satisfaction. "What's this idiot doing? He's fucking stupid." Ha ha. Feeling like he had just escaped a deadly trap, Minsu thought to himself, "They treat us like animals and then offer a bathroom break. Livestock don't have bathrooms. Only humans do. Something definitely isn't right." Walking toward the guards, he started shouting at the top of his lungs, "Everyone who needs to use the bathroom is right here." The commander gave a sinister smile. He gestured with his hand and said, "Of course, humans or beasts, everyone's got to go eventually. Holding it in like that must have been torture. You guys are excused for 30 minutes. Hearing that, the youths who stayed behind felt instant regret. "Damn it, I should have gone. I'm so salty right now." Meanwhile, the ones who volunteered to go grinned ear to ear and started trash-talking. "Those idiots back there." Haha, the commander puckered his lips and pointed at the group heading for the bathroom. "What are you laughing at? At least you're not them." The entire bathroom group stood there, eyes wide with confusion. Then the commander clenched both fists and declared with a fierce expression, "From this moment on, you will become a human centipede." Minsu flinched and thought, a human centipede, a centipede. It's an arthropod belonging to the class Chilopoda. It typically has 15 pairs of legs as a basic trait, but some species can have up to 177 pairs. A creature lower than both humans and beasts. A mere insect. After seeing the group lined up like a centipede, the commander screamed with excitement. "You pieces of trash are lower than farm pigs. You're a low-life species." That can't even control your own basic bodily functions. For things like you, using a bathroom is a luxury. Just shit yourselves, you useless insects. Saying this, the commander charged forward like a madman, kicking them one by one. Then he puckered his lips again. Wasn't your stomach hurting? Didn't you say you needed to go? Then do it. Go right now. Then the rest of the guards joined in, viciously beating every single person in that line. Once they were satisfied, the guards pulled out water hoses and relentlessly sprayed down the youths who had asked to go. Watching this insane spectacle, the protagonist thought dejectedly. The wild beasts from 3 hours ago have now truly become livestock. They were desperately trying to avoid being punished. Suddenly the loudspeaker blared, "Time's up." The commander glanced slightly toward the loudspeaker. Then he gave the order, "All right, clean up and head inside. Feed the pets their rations." At the juvenile reformatory's cafeteria, plates of ice-cold rice, along with a tiny bit of food on the trays. Staring down at the pathetic meal, the male lead couldn't help but think to himself, is this even food? What is there even to eat? And why do we have to eat on the floor? Is it because we're just pets? At the very least, they should give us utensils. Interrupting his train of thought, a soldier walked up and announced, "From now on, we will sing the Song of Gratitude." The new guys looked at each other in confusion, whispering, "What the hell is the Song of Gratitude?" A soldier shouted, "Attention, let's begin, 2, 3. Immediately, the old-timers began singing along frantically. "We are not human beings. We are but dogs and cats. We eat what we are given. We do what we are told. Thank you for cursing at us. Thank you for beating us." Looking at the lyrics posted on the wall, the male lead thought in shock. This is completely inhumane. They really do see us as pets. After thinking for a moment, the male lead made a decision. Fine, whether I'm a pet or whatever, I'll endure it. I'll suck it up and get out of here no matter what. Meanwhile, on some road, Saemin and Yusung's motorcycle had come to a stop. Looking down below, Yusung asked curiously, "Where is this? That over there is the youth reformatory? How come I can see it from here?" Samin sat leaning against the guardrail, speaking sadly. "I come here every single day, because I just can't stop thinking about my younger sibling." Yusung came over to sit beside her and cut in. "My younger brother is still awaiting trial. He'll probably end up there soon too." "But do you really think it's hell?" Saemin quickly replied. "Hell might actually be better. That place isn't for human beings." Saemin slowly brought a cigarette to her lips, her face full of heavy emotion. "Every day I have nightmares about what went down there. I can't even sleep without popping pills. You must be really worried about your brother, to have come all this way looking for me." Yusung began to pour his heart out. "It was my mom's dying wish. She asked me to look out for him, but in the end I failed. That's why I came to you, to try and do something before it's too late. Out of everyone who got out of there, you're the only one who looks like they're doing okay." Saemin glanced at him and asked, "So do you want to know how I made it out of that reformatory alive?" Yusung asked excitedly, "There's a way? How exactly did you leave that place in one piece?" Saemin's eyes suddenly went wide. Her tongue flicked out to lick her nose. She grabbed a fistful of her own hair and then turned to Yusung and said, "I faked being a total retard just like that. I'm being for real." Yusung said disappointedly, "I'm not playing around, I'm serious. You need to get serious and tell me the truth." Saemin replied bluntly, "I'm not kidding at all." Then she slowly reached up and pulled back her wig, exposing a mess of scars underneath. Then she explained that place is a dumping ground for the most unhinged kids in the entire country. If they snap, they'll start throwing hands instantly. It's full of crazy people you can't even imagine. I never thought I'd see someone dunk their own head into a hot deep fryer. Yusung looked down in remorse. "I'm sorry. I had no idea you went through all that." "You don't have to say anything else." Samin cut him off. "I got out early because I faked being a retard. It was easy, but that probably won't help you much." Then she nudged Yusung with her foot, teasing him. "Wipe that look off your face. Don't go pitying me or I'll kick your ass." Frustrated, Yusung swatted Saemin's foot away and snapped, "Knock it off." Saemin laughed out loud and asked, "By the way, you were asking about that mark earlier, right? Looks like you're completely clueless, so let me break it down for you. After the induction ceremony for both males and females at the center, you'll get a shower, a set of clothes, and a meal. Then to prevent any escapes, you'll have to wear a GPS collar. Once you've received your gear, you'll be moved to your assigned room. Juvenile offenders are categorized based on the severity of their crimes and sent to their respective rooms. For example, Room E is for basic assault. Room D is for drug trafficking. Room C is for theft and fraud. Someone like me went to Room B for aggravated assault. So your brother is definitely heading to Room A, because Room A is for criminals convicted of murder or something just as bad. Just like your brother who's in there for murder. Cut back to Misu's jail cell. He stepped inside, looking lost, clutching his box of personal belongings. Looking at the thugs in the room, he thought, it's way too quiet. Is this some kind of intimidation tactic? I can't back down now. Suddenly, a bearded guy acting like a big shot barked at him. Hey, you little brat! Don't you know how to introduce yourself? Where are you from and what landed you in here? As he spoke, he cracked his knuckles, trying to psych out Minsu. But our protagonist isn't such an easy target. He calmly thought to himself, bullying and a background check, these guys are all brawn and no brains. Then he spoke up softly. Oh, I'm from Penguin Orphanage, and I went to Songrak High School. The whole group started mocking him immediately. Damn an orphan? And now you're a juvie, talk about an elite career path. I know a guy from that high school. A long-haired guy sitting in the corner looking dangerous, growled. Everyone shut up. What are you in for? If you're in room A, you must have caused some serious trouble. Minsu thought to himself, this guy must be the leader. Then playing it cool and submissive, he replied, oh, just murder. After hearing that, the thug's eyes popped out in shock. Sweat poured down their faces as they started whispering to each other. Finally, an actual murderer just walked into this place. Are you capping? Why would I lie about something like that? It's gonna come out sooner or later anyway. Minsu was startled, thinking, wait a sec. Am I seriously the only murderer in this room? I thought they grouped us together with people who committed similar crimes. But isn't murder the ultimate sin? Does the severity of my crime actually determine who has the power in here? Suddenly, a scrawny dude among them turned toward the guy with long hair and spoke up, what are we gonna do? Our Bobby's about to kick the bucket. I guess you're stuck as the newbie forever now, huh? Minsu felt a bit annoyed and thought, what the? I thought Longhair was the boss. But is he actually the bottom of the food chain? Taking a closer look at them, it turned out Longhair was actually sitting on top of someone. Realizing he'd misunderstood, Minsu quickly corrected himself. They weren't talking about Longhair, but the guy acting as his chair was the lowest-ranking one. Because of the constant noise, Longhair stood up from his chair in a huff, swearing and shouting. This guy is so freaking annoying. The chair guy desperately begged for mercy. I'm so sorry. But the scrawny guy wasn't about to let him off that easily. He kept kicking the chair while hurling insults. Oh, look at this pig acting like he's human now. Thought you were gonna lose your newbie status. But now you're just becoming the biggest nuisance. You want to try picking a fight with a murderer? As he spoke, Longhair raised his foot and stomped on the chair. The poor kid kept pleading. I didn't mean to... But the scrawny guy doubled down. Look at this idiot talking like a person again. Squeak, squeak. Watching the thug's behavior, Minsu couldn't help but think, nothing ever changes. The weak get bullied, whether it's on the outside or the inside. That's fine. If they think they can just walk all over me, then I'd rather accept being treated like a murderer. It's past 7:00 p.m. Time for the Juvenile Detention Center's reflection essays. Minors have to write 10 self-reflection essays every day. Sitting there staring at the paper on the desk, Minsu thought to himself, damn it, I haven't even killed anyone. What the hell am I supposed to write? Thwack! Suddenly, a paper ball flew onto the desk, giving the protagonist a start. A bald guy with massive veins, popping out, was rolling paper into a bat and holding it up. Yo, you missed! A guy with spiky hair grinned and teased. That was a save, you idiot? You dropped out of baseball, so just sit down. Are you in here for beating up your juniors? Minsu stared at the two of them and said, keep it down for God's sake. Don't you guys have to write your reflection essays? The bald guy chirped back. Why bother with that BS? Anyway, our Poppy will write all of them for us? At that moment, the bald guy beamed Poppy in the head with a paper ball. Poppy was sitting hunched over on the floor, writing away. Spiky Hair walked up to Minsu and said, just let that guy write it for you. Seeing Poppy stop writing and sit up, one of them barked at him. What's up? Why are you standing up, huh? Poppy immediately started barking like a dog. One of them baited him, speak so we can understand you. Then Poppy replied, bathroom. That gave them another excuse to hurl more abuse. Who told you to talk like a human? Poppy had to resort to squeaking like a mouse. One of them crossed his arms and said, you idiot, just beat it. After that, Poppy dejectedly stood up and left. Minsu rested his chin on his hand and thought, there are no human rights in a juvenile prison. The guards are the only ones, treating us like livestock. So in places where there are no guards, the law of the jungle takes over. And just like that, Poppy was getting kicked around in the bathroom again. No one protects you if you're weak. You're just prey. To survive, you have to get stronger, or at least act tough. If you can't do that, you'll end up as a pet for the strong. Whatever, it's 8:00 p.m., shower time in a trashy communal bathroom. Minsu thought everyone only gets 3 minutes to wash up. Only water and soap are allowed. God damn it. We're sharing this one bar of soap with 50 people. At this rate, I'm gonna catch something. 9:00 p.m. bed check. The guards come around for roll call. Of course, everyone sits perfectly still, 1, 2, 3, 4. When it's Poppy's turn, he's so used to being forced to act like a dog. He instinctively barks out, "Arf!" And just like that, he gets a rapid-fire beating to the head with a notebook. The notebook is so worn out it's practically smoking. The guard finally stops. After the count is finished, it's lights out. 10:00 p.m. is bedtime, ending the day by going to sleep. Tossing and turning on his first night, Minsu couldn't sleep well. He was further disturbed by the sound of someone sniffing nearby. Bobby was crying his eyes out. The guy with the slicked back hair heard him and snapped. "Who's crying like a human being over there?" Bobby panicked and covered his mouth, making squeaking and sniffing noises. The next morning, 5:30 a.m., cleanup and morning roll call. Mornings at the reformatory start early. Breakfast is at 6:00 a.m. After the morning roll call, meals are distributed. Food is passed through a slot at the bottom of the door. Once the food was collected and neatly arranged on the table, Minsu asked curiously, "Why don't we eat in the cafeteria?" The bald guy explained, "Since there's outdoor training this afternoon, we're eating in here." Minsu replied, "Oh, I see." Then he thought to himself, "At least they gave us spoons to eat with this time." Noticing something was off, Minsu spoke up, "Hey, where's Poppy? Why isn't he eating?" The group just mumbled. Their silence made Minsu feel confused. A moment later, one guy stammered, He's under there." Minsu was startled, thinking, "Another human table." Right then, a thug cleared his throat and barked, "Damn it, it's collapsing!" "Weren't you paying attention?" Minsu said with a weary sigh. "Just let him eat while he works, man." The group of thugs snickered and asked mockingly, "Why are you so worried? We care about Poppy like a friend." "Exactly, where else could you find friends? Who would hand-feed you like this?" "We take all the leftovers from what we were eating, mix them together very carefully. And there you go, some dog food for you, Poppy." "Oh, it's chow time." Seeing the plate of food, Poppy's eyes widened with excitement. He then leaned down and started devouring it greedily. Minsu couldn't take it anymore. He suddenly stood up, kicked the table over, and screamed, "Hey, stop eating that crap." The table flipped over, making the thugs extremely pissed off. "What the hell are you yelling for? That's insane." As for Minsu, he grew even angrier seeing Poppy endure such treatment. He shouted in rage, "Are you actually stupid or something?" A long-haired guy sitting in the corner started to get annoyed. "Hey, killer, this place has its own hierarchy and rules. If you're the newcomer, you have to follow those rules. If you don't like it, then fight to become the leader. Just take it and go. To do that, you have to defeat Poppy first, because he has a higher rank. If you lose, you'll become the new Poppy." Minsu sighed and scowled, "Damn this ranking game. It's so childish for real. These guys are here because they caused trouble, but they can't let go of their thug mentality." As soon as he finished speaking, Poppy suddenly lunged forward and punched Minsu square in the face. The thugs burst into laughter. "Whoa, whoa! Poppy's doing great. Go for it. Stop being the newbie. Thought he was just an idiot. But he's got guts, doesn't he?" Even after being beaten so hard, his eye was bulging out. Minsu still thought to himself, "Damn it. I know losing here means it's all over, being at rock bottom. But how can you even fight back when he's just crying while he's hitting you?" At the same time at the orphanage, a kind-looking woman said with a bright smile, "So you're heading out to join up tomorrow. Have you packed everything you need yet?" Yu Seong, sitting on the floor with a toy penguin in his hand, replied, "Yes, Mother Director. I've packed everything. This is a treasure for my brother and me." The director chuckled and said seriously, "You two were the biggest troublemakers in the orphanage. Hey, especially you, Yu Seong. You used to hunt down the local kids like rats." Yu Seong grinned and asked, "Really?" The director said, "Don't you remember? Those kids were so scared of you that they didn't even dare to go near that orphanage." Yu Seong gave an awkward laugh and explained, "Oh, about that. Director, you've got it all wrong. It's true that I fought with those kids, but it wasn't me they were afraid of. It was my brother Minsu. I'm definitely better at fighting than my brother, but the one who's truly terrifying is a psycho. When that bastard loses his mind, nobody can stop him." Back at the juvenile detention center, Minsu was still getting his face wrecked. Seeing this, the bald guy stepped up to taunt him. "God damn it. I thought he was scary because they call him a killer, but he's just a total wimp. This is probably why your parents dumped you. Dumbass loser." New Poppy. As if his last bit of patience had been snapped, Minsu suddenly lunged up and landed a direct punch on the bald guy's face. He dragged him along by his collar, his face full of resentment. He was panting heavily, breaths coming out in white puffs. With eyes devoid of humanity, he growled, "From now on, I'm going to turn all of you into poppies. You piece of filth." As he spoke, Minsu, just as he landed a clean punch on the skinny guy's face, leaving his mouth all twisted and mangled. Taking the chance, the guy with the spiked hair slipped behind him and blindsided Minsu with a hit to the back. "What kind of mess is this?" Seeing Minsu sprawled out on the ground, they stepped over to him to talk smack. "Turn us into Poppy. You think you're on our level? What can you even do by yourself? This is room A, don't make things so ugly. This room is full of guys who think they're tough. You think we're some kind of joke?
We were going easy on you.
Since you're just an orphan. But before he could even finish the sentence, Minsu lunged to his feet and smashed a punch right into the spiked hair guy's mouth. "Shut your trap, you pig!" He then grabbed a toilet brush and shoved it right into the guy's face. "Did you just disrespect my mother?" Seeing their buddy getting humiliated, the bald guy and the skinny one rushed in screaming like madmen. "This filthy pig dared to shove a toilet brush in his mouth. I'm gonna kill you." Minsu glanced up, his eyes full of murderous intent as he taunted them back. "Kill me!" He then grabbed the sharp handle of the brush and pointed it at them threateningly. Have you ever actually killed anyone before? The scene cuts to a golf course, where a man dressed in all white with a white cap had just finished a beautiful swing. He asked the bodyguards surrounding him, "Is someone showing up to take my spot?"
If only I could have taken Minsu down like this back then.
The bodyguards watching the shot immediately showered him with praise. "Excellent shot, Congressman. That swing was so decisive." The man didn't care for the flattery. He turned around and asked, "By the way,
Why are you just standing there?"
Seeing his father turn around, Kang Yu-xiong stepped closer and knelt before him to pay his respects. "Father, I was thinking about enlisting early. Addressing the juvenile delinquency issue right now would be beneficial for your political career." "Cleaning his golf club," the man replied, acting like he cared about his father, yet turning down the invitation. "Getting into med school and then sneaking out at night." "Speak plainly, Kang Yu-xiong. Is this all because of your little brother?" he said, gritting his teeth, swinging his club to prepare for the next shot. When the ball flew exactly where he wanted it, he stopped and said, "Even if you enlist now, it's not guaranteed you'll be sent." "To the juvenile? A detention center." Yu-song replied, "Yes, sir. I'm aware of that. That's precisely why I'm asking for your help, father. If anyone can pull this off, it's you." The man didn't want to deal with it and gave a smooth rejection. "Why should I clean up the mess that your brother made?" Yu-seong thought to himself in disappointment. So he really doesn't want to help. Suddenly the man said, "It's a two-way street. Can you help me become the president?" Yu-seong gasped, bewildered. "What?" The man continued, "Go on, make your father the president." Back in the cell at the detention center, the spiked hair guy was holding Minsu in a tight bear hug from behind and ordered his lackeys to charge. "Hurry up and attack." The bald guy saw his chance and lunged to punch Minsu right in the face. Seeing that the protagonist was still breathing, the slicked-back hair guy asked in shock, "Is this guy dead or what?" The bald guy quickly replied, No way. You told me to hit him." But actually killing someone is going too far. Minsu suddenly surged up, throwing his weight back and shouting, "Psyche!" He then kicked the bald guy right in the nuts, scrambling his eggs and making him hop around in pain. The long-haired guy saw the situation was bad and rushed in. "Are you most afraid of someone mentioning your mom? Or is it being abandoned that makes you go ballistic? It's truly heartbreaking. Does your mother even know that the son she left behind has become a murderer?" After hearing those provocations from the long-haired guy, Minsu quickly scrambled up and grabbed a sharpened broom handle, charging forward to attack him. But the guy immediately blocked it with his hand. Seething with rage, Minsu used all his strength to shove the handle toward him. "Apologize for what you just said, unless you want to lose an eye." The guy acted completely unfazed and scoffed. "Apologize for what? For your mom ditching you or for you being a killer? That's enough. Stop it right now. Stop it, you piece of trash." Suddenly, the guy raised his hands and shouted, "I didn't do anything," leaving Minsu totally bewildered. The guy then turned to face the wall, put his hands behind his head and continued, "He's the one who started all of this." Confused, Minsu turned his head. "Who are you talking to?" Behind the protagonist, the guards were already charging in like madmen, batons ready as they rushed toward him. They screamed, "You little bastard! Do you have any idea where you are?" A baton slammed right into Misu's face. Then came a relentless barrage of strikes, raining down on him. The guards barked orders as they beat him. Everyone faced the wall. "And this punk starts trouble the second he gets here. Teach him a lesson now." The long-haired guy jumped in to play the victim. He grabbed a weapon and attacked everyone else in the room. A lot of people got hurt. I'll put all the details in the report. He then glanced over and said to Poppy, "You just sat there while he went wild, didn't you?" "Yes, sir." A while later, after being beaten to a pulp, Minsu was dragged out of the room by the guards. He was thrown into solitary confinement for 15 days and told to think long and hard about what he'd done. After the cell door slammed shut, Minsu thought to himself, solitary confinement, also known as the punishment room. A place for troublemakers, isolated for a specific period of time. The days spent here don't even count toward my total sentence. But being alone isn't so bad. Maybe I should have stirred up trouble to get in here sooner. Suddenly, a voice echoed from outside. A guard's voice rang out through the door slot. "Lee Minsu, sit up straight. Slouch and you'll get another day in the hole. Kneel down and wipe that look off your face." Minsu immediately complied, thinking to himself, in the punishment room, I have to stay in a kneeling position until bedtime, under 24/7 surveillance. Even the right to move my limbs is stripped away. At least they loosen the monitoring. When I use the toilet, thank God. But wait, where's the toilet paper? Interrupting his thoughts, the guard peeked through the door and said, hurry up, kid. Minsu explained, it's not that. There's no toilet paper in here. It's behind you. Look behind you. Minsu turned his head around, only to see a faucet slowly dripping water. Seeing his hesitation, the guard barked at him. Use the faucet to wash up. Stop just sitting there. Minsu stared at his hand and thought, wash by hand for real. A while later, a tray of food was pushed into the room for him. The protagonist lay sprawled on the floor, using his mouth to grab the food, devouring it ravenously. As he ate, he thought to himself, could these bastards not untie me just to eat? Once I get out of here, I'm going to crush them all. 7:00 p.m. was the time for reflection journals. Even in solitary, you still had to write reflections. And now I have to write twice as much, because I'm in solitary. Everyone here has issues, but the biggest problem here is this guy. This bastard, no matter what, I need to take him down. That night was also Minsu's first night sleeping in solitary confinement. Lying alone in the freezing room, Minsu sprawled out on the floor, sleeping so soundly that drool pooled on the ground. In his dream, he saw the day the two brothers were still little, standing and watching the house in front of them, going up in thick smoke. Then he suddenly woke up in terror, panting and drenched in sweat. He shivered and thought, maybe it's this environment. That makes these traumatic. Memories keep haunting my dreams. If I go back to sleep, I feel like the nightmare will just happen again. I guess I'll just have to stay awake all night. 16 days later, Minsu was taken back to the cell by the guards. Lee Minsu, your time in the hole is over. Get back to your assigned room. Stepping into the room, Minsu flew into a rage, cussing out these bastards. The skinny guy acted like nothing had happened, grinning and acting all friendly. Hey, we're sorry. We went a bit overboard, didn't we? Spiky Hair took the opportunity to jump in. Poppy's not gonna be Poppy anymore, right? Woofa, no, definitely not. The skinny guy tried to play it cool. Let's just be normal from now on, okay? Minsu wondered suspiciously, what the hell? Is it really gonna be settled that easily? Then he begrudgingly said, fine. I'll accept your apology, but I want an apology from Seiju too. Suddenly, a foot came from behind and slammed right down on Misu's head. The long-haired guy taunted him arrogantly, looking for me. How's it going, mama's boy? Then the whole gang pinned Minsu down. The skinny guy held a wad of cloth and yelled, hold him tight so I can gag this punk. Two of them then dragged Minsu into the bathroom. The skinny guy mocked him gloatingly. How's the taste of my week-old dirty underwear? Longhair looked down at Minsu excitedly and said, Mama's boy, were you looking for me, huh? Too bad. Someone else is even more itching to see you than I am. Someone who really hated getting his ass kicked by you back then. Then the bald guy slowly walked in, with his pants pulled down to reveal a butterfly perched on them. He stepped right up in front of Minsu, ignoring his struggling and screaming. Suddenly another soldier walked in and barked at them. That's enough. Longhair glanced over and replied, you must be the new guard. Don't mind us. We have permission to do this. Permission from who? I'll deal with your punishment last. At that moment, they let go of Minsu. The soldier walked over and reached out his hand to Minsu. Recognizing someone, Minsu also quickly reached out and grasped his hand. Yusung whispered happily, let's go home, Minsu. The protagonist looked up and thought, is that Kang Yusung? The scene shifts back to 30 minutes ago. A man in a white shirt at a golf course is shouting passionately into a microphone in his hand. Beside him, a high-ranking officer sits with tears in his eyes, enjoying the music. He claps enthusiastically and exclaims about patriotism. What a truly patriotic soldier. General Ju Yoxi is the embodiment of the will of our nation's protectors. The man in the white shirt sighed and replied, the South Korean military really had its glory days like that. The high-ranking officer continued, sir, you truly are a loyal patriot. But making your son a soldier, by skipping all the formal procedures, is a bit of a stretch. Isn't it? The man in the white shirt followed up immediately. You're all grown up but still so naive. All you can do is spout nonsense, can't you? Other politicians manipulate documents to keep their kids out of service, faking non-existent mental illnesses, and pulling all sorts of pathetic stunts. Wouldn't it be much better to just send those spoiled, clueless brats straight into the army as quickly as possible? Rather than making up fake hero stories, the high-ranking officer responded, you truly are a general, or better yet a lawmaker, sir. Let the boy enlist today. The man in the white shirt turned and asked, so young man, the higher-up says you must enlist immediately. Are you ready? Yusung replied cheerfully, yes, father, I'll enlist right away. I've prepared everything to save my little brother. While my brother was still awaiting trial, I gathered intelligence from 10 other juvenile inmates. I've confirmed the truth. This training facility is hell. That's why I came here with firm determination, even a day earlier than planned. I'll pull you out of that hellhole. So let's go home, Minsu. If you do exactly what I say, you'll be released soon. It's a perfect plan if we just follow it. Everything will work out. But suddenly Minsu bolted upright and lunged to attack the bald guy. He clutched his face in pain, eyes wide, as the guard yelled, "No! Is this kid just a total rookie, or is he a senior here? Either way, this room is only for 2 people. You must be the new meat, huh? But there are rules that we have to follow every night. Or do you want to find out the house rules the hard way?" Yu Sung asked. Rules? By rules, do you mean throwing hands? Then I guess I'll have to play by the rules tonight. The skinny guy snickered, taunting him, "Don't you dare try to chicken out." At the same time, Minsu was frantically searching for the long-haired guy. He rushed toward him, shouting, "Bring it on, Longhair!" But the attack was too telegraphed. Longhair stepped aside easily and said, "Dumbass, did you really think swinging blindly like that would work?" Seeing Minsu fall flat on the floor, Longhair mocked him, "You can't even keep your balance, yet you're screaming like a lunatic." Then he looked at Yu Sung and thought, more importantly, that guard, he kept them all in check in no time. So what is he even doing? He's like nobody I've ever seen before. At that moment, Minsu's foot, Su is charging straight at Longhair's face. Minsu lunges forward, screaming like a maniac, "Hey, you pig! What the hell are you distracted by? Your Longhair, I'm the one you're fighting. Quit looking away." Longhair slowly stands up, his voice low and menacing. "I was gonna keep my cool and let it slide, but now you're officially a poppy." Overconfident Minsu charges in and swings, his fist at Longhair, shouting, "I don't give a crap. Why don't you be the poppy?" Longhair immediately counters with an elbow strike, directly to Minsu's head, following up with a kick that leaves Minsu flattened on the floor. Longhair steps on Minsu and says, "Do you know why Poppy became Poppy?" Minsu takes the chance to break free and throws a roundhouse kick at Longhair. "I don't give a damn, you pig." Longhair blocks the attack with his arm, while answering, "Poppy used to be the boss of this unit. But just like you, he didn't know his place and kept acting like a tough guy." He finishes his sentence with a punch straight to Minsu's face. Minsu desperately grabs Longhair's shoulder to keep from collapsing. Then he lunges back for a counterattack. "In this room, you're the most pathetic one here." Like a flash, a powerful punch slams right into Minsu, leaving him motionless on the floor. Gasping for air, he thinks to himself, "Damn it. I lost to the bastard who insulted my mother, and I couldn't even land a single hit on him. Plus, every time he hit me, that prick's face just kept flashing before my eyes." Yu Sung walks over to check on him. "Kid, you still alive?" He then slings Minsu over his shoulder and says, "Why is this brat so light? Does he not eat or something?" Seeing this, Longhair steps in to stop him. "Where do you think you're taking him? He needs to be taught a lesson first." Yu Sung replies, "To solitary confinement. He caused a scene, so he needs to be punished." Longhair quickly presses further. "Why not fight me instead? You acted like you were so tough earlier." Yu Sung turned around and replied, "Oh, that's right. Please stop fighting. She told me to tell you that." Off to solitary confinement. Minsu lay sprawled on the floor, cursing, "Damn it. Solitary again? How long was I out? That freaking long-hair bastard. The next time I see him, I'll rip all his hair out, that stupid thug." Entering the bathroom, Minsu thought to himself, "Wait, what's this? I feel like I'm forgetting something really important. My stomach hurts, but why isn't the water running? Is it broken? Does this mean I can't wash the hand I just used to wipe my ass?" Suddenly, a voice echoed from outside, "Paper's over there. Don't wipe with your bare hand, you're nasty. The faucet works on a timer, it won't run. Until tonight." Tearing the pieces of paper in his hand, Minsu thought, "This time they didn't even tie my hands before throwing me in solitary. Oh, now I remember what I forgot." Quickly after that, Minsu rushed to the door, pounding it and screaming, "Hey, you crazy guard, are you out of your mind? What the hell are you doing here?" Yu Sung didn't care and asked, "Did you wipe your hand yet?" Minsu replied, "Yeah, I did, but what are you trying to be a hero? You really came here to save me. You found a good family, so you should have just stayed happy." "Who asked you to save me? You idiot, get out of here now. Didn't you get into medical school? Just abandon a murderer like me. Why ruin your life over a killer?" Minsu covered his face, trembling as he said, "I'll feel so guilty if you get stuck here." Yu Sung replied, "Yeah, I'm an idiot. But I don't care who calls you a killer, I believe in you. I know you didn't kill anyone, Minsu, because I'm your brother." "Hey, are you crying?" "No, I'm not." "Then why do I hear you sniffing?" "I told you I'm not freaking crying," Minsu asked calmly. "So if what you say is true, then I can actually get out of here," Yu Sung replied. "As long as you don't act like a total dumbass and keep getting thrown into solitary, then yes. Just follow the program and listen to what I say, and you'll be fine." Minsu hesitated and said, "But I have one request. I want to fight that long-haired prick."
One more time.
Yusung asked. Why do you keep wanting to fight him? When you know damn well you're going to lose, Minsu explained. Because that pig dared to insult our mother. I can stomach anything else. But not someone who disrespects my mom. Yusung turned back and said, then hit him. I'll teach you how to win. But if you lose to that bastard, who insulted mom again, I'll kill you with my own hands. With only 15 days left in solitary, it's far too short to build up physical strength. So what you're going to learn from now on is how to take down Gasejun. The familiar cell door appeared before them. Minsu asked in surprise, can I really beat that Sejun guy with just this? Kang Yusung replied confidently, according to my analysis, you'll win. But if you lose, you're dead by my hand. Hearing his brother's half-hearted answer, Minsu couldn't help but feel let down, blurted out, holy crap. Arriving at the cell door, Kang Yusung slowly opened the door, filled with anxiety as he asked once more, you've memorized this plan by heart, right? Minsu walked in with a bold stance and replied, of course, just trust me. As soon as Minsu stepped into the room, a barrage of resentful and angry glares were aimed directly at him. Then came a string of sarcastic questions. So, must be nice, huh? Just chilling in solitary, without having to do any drills. You're pissed, right? Want to scrap? Let me mess you up first, okay, what? Minsu's face darkened as he gave a cryptic smile and replied, didn't I say I'd turn you all into little puppies? But on second thought, the whole group panicked, their eyes wide with shock. Huh, what's this? Why did you suddenly... You're acting like a dog now. At that moment, Minsu was lying on his back on the ground, with his arms and legs up in the air. With an excited look, he said, I think it'll be faster if I just become the puppy myself. Woof woof. He recalled the words of Yusung. The first thing is to endure in order to win. You must withstand the enemy's attacks, and wait for your chance. If you endure and wait like that, the opportunity will definitely come. This is the ultimate secret technique. Right now, Minsu was lying flat on the floor, using his back as a board for a board game, serving the whole group. The skinny guy seemed upset about something, raising his voice to say, damn it, 3-3 is cheating. The guy with slicked back hair turned and laughed, adding, yo, that's wrong, it's 4-3, you idiot. Hearing this, Minsu's face turned pitch black. He slammed both hands on the floor, cursing in his head, those motherfuckers. Then he immediately sprang up in frustration, shouting, hell no, I tried to suck it up, but I can't take this crap anymore. Seeing his reaction, the two of them were startled and panicked for a moment. The skinny guy grumbled, geez, his mouth scared the hell out of me. The slicked back hair guy also started hurling insults. This bastard dares to talk back. Then both of them stood up abruptly, pointing their fingers right in Minsu's face. The skinny guy continued to curse him out. This pig. You don't want to be a dog anymore, is that it? How dare you resist you trying to start a riot? The slicked back hair guy glared, with cross-eyed fury, and interrupted, damn it, I was just about to win. As if fueled by more fire, the skinny guy was beyond enraged, veins popping out all over his face. His eyes went white as he threatened, or do you want to settle the hierarchy again? Minsu suddenly froze, quietly remembering the advice his brother had given him. Just endure it. If you can hold out for 5 days, I'll take care of your cell's lessons. During class, everything is up to the guards. Please don't fight and just stay put. After 5 days, I'll set everything right for you. Snapping out of his thoughts, Minsu stood with his legs apart, twisting his body, and said, I don't care anymore. Let's keep playing. He quickly leaned back, propped his hands onto the ground, and mocked. I mean, let's go another round like the last game. Seeing this, the skinny guy asked sarcastically, oh, the grade A puppy, slick-back hair, quickly suggested, let's do egg smashing this time. How are you gonna smash eggs, you damn dog? You gotta smash those eggs. Go on, neuter him. And so they began to beat Minsu. He could only grit his teeth and endure, thinking to himself, just endure it, only 5 more days. On the second day, Minsu crawled on all fours to mop the floor. He even used his mosquito net as a tool to clean it more quickly. Clang, clang, clang. A sound rang out right in front of him, making him look up in frustration. Standing before him, the bald guy was leisurely sitting on Poppy's back, teasing him like a pet. Meow. Seeing this, the protagonist asked, what the hell are you doing? Poppy, looking exhausted and drenched in sweat, replied, a cat riding a robot vacuum. Third day. Time to write self-reflection letters. Seeing Minsu diving into the writing just to get it over with, Poppy turned to complain, hey, at least try to make it look legit. Fourth day. The two of them went to the bathroom together. Poppy joked happily, being dogs together is kind of fun, right? Minsu responded in fury by growling and gnashing his teeth. Grind, grind. While the thugs were sitting comfortably at the table eating, suddenly strange sounds echoed through the air, causing them all to turn around in shock. In a corner, our Minsu was hunched over, scarfing down his meal, right off the plate on the floor. He ate while pretending to be thrilled. Man, this is so damn good, woof woof. Then he quickly looked up and said, give me another bowl.
The thugs replied, yeah, hold on, I'll get you more. Is it really that good? What a psycho. Minsu swallowed his pride and thought to himself, tomorrow is finally the 5th day. This hellish situation will be over tomorrow. A while later, after scarfing down 2 massive plates of rice, Minsu clutched his stomach and ran straight to the bathroom to vomit. Poppy ran in worriedly, patting his back with concern. Why did you go so overboard with the food? It was fine to leave some behind. Here, take this. Seeing that Minsu couldn't help but be surprised. Wait, what? What's this? Poppy held out a piece of candy to Minsu. Smiling brightly with blushing cheeks, he said, you threw everything up. It sucks having an empty stomach. This is a secret from the others, okay? I bought this on the sly with some pocket change I saved up. Minsu held the candy in a daze, eyes wide as he stammered, You. Poppy grinned from ear to ear, closing both eyes as he encouraged him. So let's keep doing our best as puppies from now on, okay? Minsu interrupted immediately. Chill out, man, I'm gonna pass on that. The scene shifts to the detention center's training yard. Frisbee was thrown at high speed, along with the shout, Fetch! Minsu, hearing the command, obediently chased after it, opening his mouth wide to catch that disc. Once the frisbee was firmly in his mouth, the thugs rushed over, cheering in excitement. Whoa, this guy is a pro at fetching. Good boy puppy number 2. Meanwhile, Poppy was still struggling to chase the disc the bald guy had just thrown, completely ignoring Poppy's exhausted state. The bald guy couldn't help but bark at puppy number 1. What the hell are you doing? Are you really just gonna let him beat you like that? The skinny guy added dejectedly. That guy always vomits during practice, but he's actually making progress. The guy with slicked back hair said with a devious grin, It's only because it's us that we can have this much fun. Then he pointed at Poppy and mocked him. The way you run is legendary, man. Before they could celebrate for long, Slickback's expression suddenly flipped into a state of pure panic. He yelled, Yo, look out front right there! But he couldn't even finish his warning. Poppy charged straight into the prison's kitchen staff, sending the whole group into a chaotic scramble. Looking at Poppy rolling on the ground, the kitchen crew stood around him with intense hostile glares. One growled, What's this? You looking for a fight? Which cell are you from, you piece of garbage? Poppy struggled to get up, trembling as he replied, Hey, wanna play with us? In another corner, the long-haired guy was sprawling out on the ground, lost in thought, wondering, What's the deal here? How does that guy know my sister? Did she send him here? Hey, boss of Cell 3. Suddenly a voice echoed from a distance, startling Longhair, who cracked one eye open to look. The kitchen staff from before now looked absolutely menacing. The guy wearing a head wrap arrogantly stomped on Poppy, pinning him to the dirt, and asked, Is this your dog? Damn you, dog handler! Why can't you do your job right, huh? This mutt jumped us first. This is a declaration of war against the cafeteria crew. Right. Otherwise, get on your knees and apologize, and I'll let it slide. As he spoke, he ground his foot down hard, crushing Poppy's face into a distorted mess. Seeing their group being humiliated, the whole crew lost their patience. Every single one of them flared up, ready for battle. Baldy opened the greetings by saying, You cafeteria working pigs, it was just a little bump. Why are you all worked up? At the same time, Longhair spoke up from the back. What, scared to go one-on-one, afraid of getting clapped? The skinny guy jumped in surprise and turned back to ask, Huh? Longhair said arrogantly, That's enough. Don't drag this out. The head wrap guy said with an excited look, Huh? Don't make this a bigger deal than it is. Just beat this dog until it's enough, then call it a day. Finishing his sentence, he began to kick Poppy frantically, releasing his anger with every strike. Beat him until it's enough. Is this enough, or how about this enough yet? This pig is really giving orders now. You hit him like this, right? Huh, damn it, this is pissing me off. Despite Poppy crying out in pain, Stop it, somebody help, the group of thugs seemed to care less about him. The skinny guy said coldly, Wow, starting a war just over a puppy. That's really taking it too far. I don't want to mess with the cafeteria crew. I'm not trying to starve to death. Looking at his companion, getting beaten to a pulp, Minsu couldn't stand it anymore and stepped forward, saying, Don't we need the guards? The skinny guy replied, It's just a minor scuffle. The guards don't give a damn. They'll just let us handle it ourselves. Beside them, Poppy continued to wail, I messed up, somebody, please help me. Poppy's pleas for mercy echoed in his ears, along with memories of his gentle and thoughtful nature, holding the candy Poppy had given him in his hand. But at the same time, he remembered his brother's advice. After the noon training session, classes will start immediately. Just endure until then. This forced Minsu to walk away in resignation. On the other side, the head wrap guy got more excited as he kept hitting, constantly spewing arrogant words. Man, this feels good. Hey, lend him to me for a few days. I want to beat him some more. Suddenly, a frisbee came flying straight at him at a breakneck speed. It landed smack in the middle of the head wrap guy's face. One impact sent his face into a total wreck. Even his eyes looked like they were about to pop out of their sockets. Then he tumbled backward, leaving his two henchmen in a state of panic. Even the thugs were startled and turned around, only to see Minsu standing there, still in the follow-through position from throwing that disc. The skinny guy gasped in shock, puppy number 2. So Minsu hadn't left after all. He had gone to get a weapon to counterattack. With a face full of indignation, Minsu angrily shouted at his cellmates, "I know you guys are just low-life dogs who ended up here for bullying others and causing trouble on the outside. So I knew you'd eventually pull the same crap. In here too. You guys form gangs and then get treated like trash. Do you even know what honor or—" My dignity has been completely crushed. As he spoke, he stepped closer toward Poppy. Seeing Poppy lying motionless, his face bruised purple and covered in blood, Minsu leaned down to pick him up and continued to lash out. "But when my dog gets bitten by another dog, don't you guys feel any shame at all?" Hearing those grating words coming from his own puppy, Longhair couldn't hold back anymore and stepped up. "Hey, I told you not to drag this out. Hey, wait a sec." Suddenly, an unfamiliar voice called out as someone tapped Longhair on the shoulder. He had a ferocious face, with eyebrows sharp as daggers, and to top it off, his hair was standing straight up. He asked skeptically, "Is this actually war? Are you sure you want the cafeteria boss to know that you're declaring war?" Without saying a word, Longhair immediately swung an elbow straight into the guy's face. With a look of pure rage, he replied through gritted teeth, "War fine. Bring it on. But before that, I have to crush this rebellion first." While speaking, Longhair glared intensely at Minsu. Seeing that things were going south, the protagonist thought to himself, "Brother, I'm sorry. The plan I laid out, in the end, I'm breaking my promise." Meanwhile, following the earlier commotion, other groups of inmates began to swarm the area. "What's up, war with the cafeteria? Is that what the noise is about?" "No clue, but this match looks lit. Is this a riot or something? Wait, is Gaisejun throwing down with that guy? Gaisejun's got this in the bag, right? No. That guy committed murder before joining the gang. How do you play against a literal killer man?" As the inmates formed a tight circle around them, Minsu thought to himself, "Looks like there's no avoiding this fight. But I'll definitely keep that one promise." Interrupting those thoughts, Longhair nonchalantly tied his hair back and gave a sarcastic laugh. Everything was quiet until they had to go and make a scene again. After weighing his options, Minsu suddenly shifted his attitude completely. He aggressively cracked his knuckles and joints to warm up, then added, "So what, wanna bet on it? Whoever wins this fight becomes the top dog of the cell." Minsu thought with total confidence, "I'm definitely winning this." At the rehabilitation center's classroom, Yu-sung sat blankly by the window thinking to himself, "The kids in this center are minors, so they're required to attend basic classes here. During class hours, the guards have total control. In other words, whatever happens out there is entirely up to me. Step 1 of the plan is to make Minsu the top dog of the cell. Today, right here, Minsu will take down Sejun and become the boss. To ensure Minsu beats Sejun, the environment has been perfectly set up. The stage is set, so now it's time for the actors to appear." Snapping out of his thoughts, Yu-sung checked his watch impatiently with a worried look. Why hasn't he shown up yet? Suddenly shouting from the yard broke out, grabbing Yu-sung's attention. "Let's go finish him, you idiot. Whoa, how are you missing every single shot? Step it up, killer mother, if you're a total scrub. What the hell is Gaisejun even doing? Is he using Conqueror's Haki to dodge everything? Is that killer brain dead or what? What the hell is he doing? How did he kill anyone by making them die of laughter?" Witnessing his little brother out there, Yu-sung couldn't help but sigh in disappointment. Then he slammed his hand against the window and screamed out at the top of his lungs, "Lee Minsu, you absolute dumbass, real talk." At that exact moment, Minsu was getting his ass handed to him. An uppercut sent him flying backward. He flashed back to the time during those 15 days in solitary confinement. Yu-sung was teaching Minsu basic striking techniques. Move 1. Uppercut. 2 body shot to the liver, 3 lead hook. 4 mid-level kick. 5 low kick. 6 calf kick. 7 front kick. 8 spinning kick. Finally, a straight jab. "It's been a while since we did this. You still remember?" Minsu was startled and stammered, "It's been so long. How am I supposed to remember that stuff? I only learned the basics when I was a kid. I don't train regularly like you do. Can I really beat him with just a few moves? Are you for real? Are you teaching me for real?" "Gaisejun is seriously strong." Yu-sung sighed and replied, "Gaisejun is a good fighter for someone who doesn't actually train," Minsu asked in surprise. "Wait, he really doesn't train?" Yu-sung explained with a tired look. "His moves look flashy, but they have no foundation. If you break them down, they're weak as hell. In other words, he doesn't have proper technical combos. Gaisejun is just a kid who's slightly better than your average guy. He could never win against someone who actually trains properly." Minsu felt sad and disappointed in himself. And yet I'm the one who lost to a guy like that. I couldn't even land a single hit. I just stood there taking hits. even if I learn what you teach me. Will I even be able to use it right? Yu-sung chuckled and replied, that's exactly why I want you to fight. In the classroom where I'll be teaching. Minsu asked angrily, what difference does fighting there make? Yu-sung then analyzed, if your opponent keeps dodging, you have to corner them so they can't escape. And the classroom has plenty of corners to trap him. By using the environment and pinning him in a corner, your combo will definitely land. Cut back to the present with Ga Sejun, the crowd of inmates watching. Couldn't help but comment in disappointment, what's this? So boring. This is supposed to be a fight for the top dog position. Does that killer even know how to fight? As for Minsu, blood was gushing out of his nose, making him start to panic. He thought to himself, this is bad. There are no walls here. Meanwhile, Yu-sung was rushing outside, looking furious as he cursed out Lee Minsu. Seriously, this kid, he never listens. Seeing the massive crowd forming a tight circle, Yu-sung thought to himself, why are there so many people? I can't see anything. Forget that plan. I have to stop this fight first. Yu-sung quickly shouted, everyone stop fighting! Suddenly a piece of popcorn flew out of nowhere and smacked him right in the face. Along with the words, what do you think you're doing? He looked at a man who was casually tossing popcorn into his mouth with pure excitement. Yu-sung froze, wondering to himself, popcorn. The warden sat regally in a chair, flanked by 2 guards fanning him on both sides. He asked smugly, why are you trying to ruin my fun, huh? Yu-sung jumped and quickly raised his hand in a salute. Loyalty, I am Kang Yu-sung, the new correctional officer. The kids are fighting, so I was going to stop them. The warden asked, stop them. He then shot a fierce glare at Yu-sung and asked, do you like the animal kingdom? Yu-sung stood there dazed. Excuse me? The warden explained, you know, the TV show with rats and stuff. Say there's a hungry snake that wants to eat a rat. What do you think the camera crew would do in that situation? Nothing, absolutely nothing, because a snake eating a rat is the law of nature. In other words, we shouldn't interfere with the fight. Let's just follow the natural order. Besides, watching a fight is a blast. Having said that, he wore an expression of deep satisfaction, grinning from ear to ear in sheer bliss. Looking at him like that, Yu-sung couldn't help but think, this old man's lost his mind. At the same time, Minsu was trying to apply the offensive moves that his older brother had taught him. He quickly regained his composure and threw a punch. Then he put all his strength into an uppercut toward Longhair. But Longhair quickly leaned back and dodged it. He even glared back mockingly at Minsu. What kind of stunt is this, kid? Then he casually landed a straight punch right on Minsu's face, sending him sprawling onto his back once again. With a look of agonizing frustration, he thought to himself, damn it, you bastard. If you just get caught in my combo, it's game over for you. Please, I just need one hit to land. Making up his mind, Minsu charged forward again, attacking with his second move. At the same time, Longhair had already raised his fists, ready to defend. Then before he could even touch him, Minsu took another punch that sent his head reeling. Longhair mocked him relentlessly. You in math class or something? Why are you counting out loud? You need me to teach you how?